Hi, I'm Lena Rao with TechCrunch TV, and we're here with PayPal's president, Scott Thompson, at the PayPal developer event here in San Francisco.
Hi Lena, how are you?
Nice to be here, and congratulations on a big day of news for you guys.
Sure is. What do you think of the environment we put together?
It's great. It's really, really great. Lots of really enthusiastic developers here, which is always a good thing for your developer conference.
Yeah. If we kind of blew that, it would be a problem, wouldn't it?
For sure, for sure. I mean, you had Facebook here, which is a big, big announcement. They've been a partner of yours for some time now. But I really would love to get into the nitty-gritty of what that Facebook partnership means for PayPal and how much extra traffic revenue flow is that going to bring to your platform with this new micropayments product. Right.
So the micropayments product, the digital experience that we announced earlier today, we're very excited about. Sorry, I did that twice. We're very excited about because that whole in-context experience is a really big thing. So you could be in a game, you could be doing any number of things. Watching a video was what we showed this morning, and just simply be prompted for a payment and continue on with the experience. We think that's a really big deal, and it'll be a big deal for Facebook and a lot of other merchants and venues that have that type of content that want to take advantage of it.
So have you done studies that show that, let's say a player, playing a game, if they're taken out of that game into the payments portal, the PayPal payments portal, that they will be less likely to engage back in that game and maybe spend more money or play additional minutes during that game? Is that something that you've proven that it's gonna?
Yeah, so not exactly that, but we do a lot of work trying to understand consumer behavior and what happens when. And so the only reference point I have for what you just described is my son, who somehow is in these virtual games with his buddies. They're off conquering some new land, and if all of a sudden he has to buy a new weapon that he doesn't, oh God, it's just terrible at my house. But we try to optimize around originally e-commerce checkout. So how can we get the highest possible completion of checkout with PayPal? And we've taken that same mindset to all these other venues, all these other experiences. So in the world of digital, and what you saw earlier in our announcements is working with merchants, what do they want? Well, they want to turn free customers, people who are on their site, going through the experience, consuming something, into paying customers. And that's the whole intent of what you saw earlier this morning from us, and that is a seamless, really easy to understand, hopefully at some point ubiquitous experience where I get a sample of what this is. The soccer match was the one this morning. I get a sample of what this is. I realize, yes, I do want to sit here for the next 60 minutes and watch this, and I'm willing to pay 49 cents for it in context at that moment to continue watching this. Entertainment, all these digital goods are a beautiful example of where this should work for us over the long term.
Now, one component of e-commerce now that you hear a lot about is the social component. And e-commerce and social now are going hand in hand with companies like Blippi or even a company like Groupon, where the social component is added. Now, how is PayPal thinking about social in the future? I mean, it's got to be on your mind.
Yeah, it is on our minds, but we've not, to be honest with you, we've not connected the dots quite yet between what is social and what is payments. You can see it in buying, and you can see it in interactions that you have with your friends in a lot of other ways. But when you think about payment, that's a uniquely personal thing. I mean, it's your money, by the way. And so we don't have an outpouring of demand from our 90 million active consumer accounts for social experiences around payment. We've got an outpouring of demand for more and more value around secure me, protect me, make this experience, every place I want to be, make this experience convenient for me, make it there first. And so we're really focused on all of those things, working online, anywhere you are, conveniently, securely, with the full privacy of PayPal.
Now, in terms of, let me tie in one of the things that you mentioned this morning, the local aspect. That's huge. I mean, now your iPhone app will be also including local merchants in San Francisco that accept PayPal and Bling Nation, one of your partners. Where is that going to go? Is that eventually going to be, wherever you are, your app is going to show me I'm in Chicago?
Right.
you know, let's go to Deep Dish Pizzeria around the corner
Yeah.
because they accept PayPal?
So I think that's a really good question. But let me ask you, where does your phone go? Probably everywhere you go, right? And
Usually
so,
in my purse.
but it's always with you, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so as you travel around from place to place, sections of this city or some other, that's applicable to probably most things that you want to do. So at some point in the future, when every device is connected through an internet connection of some sort, and therefore the cloud is available to deliver a payment experience from PayPal to that device, the specific local experience you're describing isn't necessary because PayPal will be accepted everywhere. But up until that moment in time, having you with a great experience on that device be able to say, you know what, I'm wandering around San Francisco, I want to find out where this is, and be able to simply go boom, 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 and I can get there and I'm done. We think that's a nice transitionary step to what is the longer term, it'll be ubiquity.
Meaning that it'll be everywhere.
Absolutely.
And you'll be across the world.
Well, you're sitting, where's the internet today? It's not everywhere, but it's most places. And so all these devices that people are building today, all the future devices that are coming in all shapes and sizes, they all have one thing, one core attribute, they're connected. And so by default, they're online. And if you're connected to the internet, that's where PayPal lives. We live in that cloud. And so we can service whatever you want to do payment-wise in all of these new devices. And so we love this proliferation that's happening because that means the market's actually coming closer to us.
Now, what's the sense of, in terms of, you know, when you do eventually go to this ubiquity of being able to offer, you know, listings of places that accept PayPal across the world, what other things are going to be involved in that? You know, to me, naturally, that means that maybe you would partner with, you know, some deals, or that you'd provide contextual information like, in, you know, hours and can I make a reservation or things like that. Is that something that you guys are eyeing?
So I wouldn't, we haven't yet begun to explore what those next generation of experiences might be. But you can imagine people that are sitting on top of us, developers who are extending PayPal's capability, building their business, taking their concept to life, that need payment. That's where we get a huge thrust into all these new market segments where you're going to do something, it's going to be brilliant, you need to move money as part of that, and the easiest thing you can do is integrate PayPal into it. So that's the nature of why we're here, right?
Right. So I'm going to switch topics a little bit to Google. And Google has a competing product to PayPal, Google Checkout, but there's been a lot of rumors that you and Google are in talks to integrate PayPal into the Android marketplace for developers as a sort of a seamless opportunity, because they don't really have something as seamless as PayPal. How do you feel about that? I guess my first question is, what's your pitch to say that you're better than Google Checkout?
Oh my word.
It's all hard questions here.
No. First off, we would never have a pitch to say we're better than Google Checkout.
What's your pitch to say that you're better than your competitors?
All right. I think with us, really the big things are, one, we have a pretty sizable installed base of consumers who, from all around the world, 190 markets, who use PayPal all the time. We have a pretty sizable base of merchants and developers who also use PayPal all the time. So if you're looking for a partner in the payment space that you want to connect up with, you're starting with somebody who's got a lot of customers who are active in the franchise already. So that's point one. Point two is, we're a really innovative, forward-looking company. So this idea of it's a wallet, a digital wallet in the cloud, and you're going to be able to access it through all these devices, and you're going to be able to build the experience in this cloud that you need to have for your customers. That's really unique. I mean, I hear other announcements of people who intend to open their platform and want to do something similar to PayPal, but the truth is, we've been doing this for a while now, and so if you want to get access to the core of the payment system, the money movement capabilities we have, the only place you can get that is PayPal. So if you're a disruptive company, if you're an innovative company, if you want to build something new consistent with what I just described, it's us. I'm not saying it because we're bragging, it's just that's who we are, that's who we intend to be, and so that flexibility plus that very significant base of customers is, I think, a compelling advantage for PayPal.
Can you comment on the Android Google possibility?
We don't have anything to announce today. You know what? The thing I've said.
I had to ask.
No, of course. The thing I've said consistently for years now is, I hope over time everybody accepts PayPal as a method of payment, because the one thing we're certain about with our customers, our consumers in particular, once they've experienced that PayPal convenience and they know we secure their financial information, they just use it over and over and over again. Not because we ask them to, because they know, man, this really works and it's safe. That's compelling.
So the last question, I know we have to wrap up pretty soon. You said today that you are on track to process 700 million in transactions payment volume on mobile phones, correct?
That's correct.
And earlier this year, that number was projected to be 500 million.
Correct.
So what actually accounted for this new, we haven't even reached the holiday season yet. Where did that extra 200 million come from?
So this space is exploding, right? Anybody who's watching this video is going to nod their heads and say, yep, I get it. It's exploding right in front of our eyes. We launched some features earlier this year and recently that we thought were good. So the mobile express checkout is a good example. We knew that was going to be a good feature, a good product capability, but we didn't really know how good it was going to be until we got it in the market, and then we saw rapid adoption of it. And as developers and as merchants take something like that, build it into what they're doing, excuse me, we get a disproportionately large amount of the payment volume, which is great. That just means we're doing the right thing in our product teams. And that's what's happening. So the space is ramping quickly. The products we've introduced are a little bit better than we thought they'd be, and the adoption rates are just flying. So how long will this continue? I hope it continues for a long, long time, but the truth is it's dependent on how good the products are, the next generation of products that we're working on today.
Great, well that's a good way to end, I think, moving forward.
Good seeing you.
Nice to see you too.
Yeah,
Thanks, Scott.
You got it.